What's the simplest program you can write? Well, that's actually kind of obvious. Whenever you are learning a new programming language, there is a sort of, well, not really a standard, but a tradition that the simplest program you can learn is the Hello World. So it's basically a program which you can start and it says back to you, Hello World. That's it. That's the entire thing. That's the simplest program you can write. But that count as a program. I mean, when it comes to programs, we usually think of automation, right? We like to automate some process to make our lives easier. And Hello World isn't really a process like that. It just says Hello World. That's it. Nothing else. So in order to make an actual responsive program, we would need input and output. Now, hold on to your seatbelts because this gets confusing. You see, input is what the user puts in, whilst output is what the program puts out. Programming is incredibly hard, alright? So the true question would be, what is the simplest kind of program which can actually generate some outputs based on an input? Yes, you could make an argument that starting a program would be the input and then the output would be Hello World, but that doesn't fit the narrative of this video, so I'm going to ignore that claim. So the simplest program you could write with that requirement would be the lookup table, or by its maiden name, if tree, or a switch to its friends. Lookup table basically works like this. You select an option and the program looks up the answer for it. So one example of lookup table would be something like this. You have 3 buttons and the programmer would program it in a way so that if you press the first one, then the light flashes red. If you press the second one, it's blue. If it's the third one, then it's green. Simple enough. It's a lookup table. For each button, the program just looks up what value should the light be, red, blue, or green, and then, shines that color. It's simple, right? But let's say we want something a bit more, just tiny little bit more complex, something with actual use to it. Well, then you could do it like this. You'll have once again 3 buttons, but for every button press, the light, instead of changing to that color, gets increased in that color. So let's for example say that I'll press red 3 times, blue twice, and green once. We'll end up with this sort of color. This is not a lookup table because, well, we won't really be able to make it in a lookup table. In order to create it with a lookup table, you would need to create an answer for any single button configuration pressed, which is an infinite number. So yeah, this won't work for us. I mean, I already have a couple of things that will take an infinite amount of time, like daily uploads, for example. So yeah, this will not work. We need a finite amount of time solution. Well, for that, you could create an algorithm. Algorithm which would basically work like this. For any button press, just add a certain value of that color. It's a simple one, but it is still an algorithm. But let's say you want something even more complex. Way more complex, in fact. Let's say you don't want 3 buttons. You want way more. Just go crazy, go whatever comes to your mind. And let's say that instead of a single light, you want millions of lights. And let's say that instead of a color, you want an image. Creating this with algorithms is, how do I put this? Impossible. It's not impossible, but it's impossible for any human to make. That's why humans created something different. Machine learning AIs, which basically means that you can create a sort of algorithm. It's sort of because just watch my other machine learning videos where you know what it does, but you don't know how it does it. So you know that, for example, it can generate an image based on the input provided, but you don't quite know how it works. You only know that it works. And so here's the thing. Why don't we use machine learning AIs for everything in existence? Because yeah, we still use crazy lot of algorithms, and you'd be surprised, we still use lookup tables. Wait, really often actually. So why? Why are we using algorithms and lookup tables when machine learning AIs are a thing? And whilst yeah, they do take longer to create, they are arguably simpler to create.
Well, the answer to that is actually incredibly simple. It is so simple, in fact, that I can really nicely wrap it up in a single sentence with no additional explanation required. You see, AIs, especially machine learning AIs, are incredibly convenient, but it's really hard to predict their output. Whilst for the aforementioned lookup table, it's actually really easy and simple to generate every single input and output possible, for most algorithms, it's not really viable. Yes, you can mathematically prove that some algorithms are perfectly safe, but it is difficult, and the larger the algorithm, the more complex the equation gets. For machine learning AIs, it is only technically possible, by which I obviously mean that that's not gonna happen anytime soon in the future. So yeah, soon I'll just release a separate video for this, because this turns out that it deserves its own video. Who would have thought, am I right? So yeah, thank you all so much for watching, and have a great day. Bye.